Hello everybody, my name is Lush Eisner and welcome to the Canadian Money Talk, the channel about Canadian investing and personal finance. Please like and subscribe. Make sure you ring the notification bell to get notified each time a video comes out. I recently had an opportunity to create an introductory presentation about personal finance for 14 and 15-year-olds, and I presented it to the teens in the neighborhood and one whose dad is in my Edmonton Investing Mastermind group. The formula for financial independence and success that I presented is earn money, spend less than you earn, invest the rest, and don't get into debt. And I split the video along these lines. This is part 2, spend less than you make. You want to minimize your spending while still living your life. The previous installments are in the links in the upper right. Second part, spend less than you make. So remember the four, this is the second. This is the second secret to financial independence. Spend less than you make. It's easily said, but a lot of people don't follow it and they get into debt. So basically live within your means. Don't do stuff they have available now. Buy now, pay later. Even for food deliveries, which I find puzzling, that you're paying for your hamburger in 4 easy installments. If you're going to buy something, try to have cash for it. So avoid buy now, pay later, or no money down. There's always some sort of a fee. There's always some sort of a penalty. I mentioned previously, don't compete with your friend's lifestyle, toys. Don't even compare pay necessarily. I think you'll be a lot happier. The expression is keeping up with the Joneses. It's like, well, my neighbor got a new car, I have to get a new car, or my neighbor had their kitchen redone, now I have to redo my kitchen. Like, if it doesn't add to your life, don't do it. Don't pay for status symbols. We'll talk about cars a lot, but luxury cars, an expensive suit, a $5,000 watch, those are status symbols, and I don't think they impress people. The expression is you can either look rich or be rich. Most of us really don't live long enough to be both, unless you're an Arab sheik with oil money. If you have a yacht, it's probably on borrowed money. So typical rich person has a nice used car, they live in a nice home that's paid off, they wear reasonable quality clothes, they avoid name brands that are expensive without added quality. Like, people who are actual millionaires probably don't have $9,000 Gucci bags, because you can get, I don't know how much a handbag for a woman costs, but you can get a much cheaper one that it just doesn't say Gucci, but it'll be functional. So I said what the typical rich person is. The poor person is probably in debt. Now, they might drive a great car and they might wear expensive clothes, but they don't actually own anything. Everything was borrowed for. You don't know by looking whether a person is rich or poor. Just because somebody is looking rich doesn't mean that they are. The other thing is avoid impulse spending. Also, there's nothing that you deserve. The world doesn't owe you anything. So be intentional with your spending. Like, know why you're buying stuff. Don't say, oh, look, oh, okay, and just buy it. At least think about it for 24 hours. And if you still feel you need it after 24 hours, then get it then. The other thing is, if you haven't heard about it already, you'll hear about it in the future. It's always time versus money. It's always a trade-off. If you have time, then you probably don't have that much money. Also, if you have a car, you're not spending very much time because it's quick to travel, as opposed to taking the bus, but the car is more expensive than the bus. So there's always that trade-off, and you have to kind of figure out how much your time is worth. The other thing I hear frequently is, oh my God, I had a hard day, so now I'm going to treat myself. And then they blow $200 on going out for drinks or for a massage or whatever it is. And that really just removes the benefit of working hard, right? Whatever overtime they work, it's gone. And you're back to the beginning. The other thing is, you can have people who make millions every year, but they also spend millions. So they'll actually never be able to stop working and they won't be financially independent, because if you're not able to work because you get hurt, you get stressed out, you have a mental breakdown or whatever it is, the cars is going to be repossessed and they're going to lose their house in 3 months, because everything that comes in goes out and they don't have anything for emergencies. You can always outspend your income if you try, and you don't have to try very hard in most cases. So be very careful of that. You have to decide for yourself what is a need and what is a want. So need is a must have. Want is a nice to have. Now, people in Edmonton, to use myself as an extreme example, people in Edmonton have a car as a need. I've been here 1 year so far, and I've never owned a car. Not here, not in Vancouver. So for some people, a car is a must-have, is a need. For me, it would be a nice to have. All right, so you have to make that decision for yourself, and you need to grow into a responsible adult. Different people define these differently. I mentioned that. So decide what is important to you and what your life goals are. The other thing is beware of something called lifestyle creep. That's when you get a raise and you just spend more. And in the end, it just all goes away anyways. Budget lets you be intentional with your money. It lets you save some room for investing, because if you don't spend less than you make and invest the rest, you can never stop working, right? If you spend every last dollar that you make on stuff and never invest anything and put money aside, just logically you can't stop working. So budget helps you do that. So budget basically lets you know where your money is coming from and where it's going. So we'll call it income and expenses. Income is the earning, and the expenses is the spending. What you do with a budget is you assign your income. You know what your income is, hopefully. You look at your pay stub, and you can say, well, it's $2,000 a month. And then you look at where your money needs to go. So maybe you're paying something for rent, maybe you're paying something for eating in restaurants, going out, whatever. So what you do is you set up categories like entertainment, groceries, eating in restaurants, and you basically say, in a month, I think I should be spending $200 on eating in restaurants. And generally the budget is supposed to say, okay, you've gone past $200 a month. It's, 15th of the month and you've already burned through it. Now you need to stop. And you need to tell your friends, yeah, sorry, I can't. So I track my spending religiously. Okay, that's just me. It's not fun for most people. And what I do is, I've never had a problem with overspending, as you might have figured out. I compare my actual spending to a budget at the end of the year, so I know where my money went, and then I look for problems. So I use a program called Quicken. I don't know if you can see that or not. Apologies for it being so small. But I've got stuff like bank charges and bus pass and clothing and computers. And this was when I was living in a condo in Vancouver. So I got the condo maintenance fee, the monthly fee, dues and subscriptions, if I've got a subscription to something, education, entertainment, groceries, home repairs, homeowners fees, insurance, legal and professional fees, which in my case would mostly be accountants. And so this center column is the actuals, and here's the budget. This is as of July 2020. So it basically says, well, you said, like, it prorates it. And then if you see, basically the values here are about half of what I have for the whole year, because I'm only halfway through the year. And then if you see red somewhere, then that gives you an indication that you've gone over to where you've gone over compared to where you should be. Sometimes it's just a timing issue, but what my accountant, for example, told me that I would pay $9,000 or maybe $7,000 in taxes in a year. And by this point, I had paid almost $13,000. So it shows a big negative red for the taxes. And that's for me to go say, okay, I wonder why. Like, did I sell something that I had to pay taxes on, or did I make more money, or what happened? So I kind of use it in reverse. If you have a problem with spending, you would use a budget, and the budget would say, okay, you've run out of money for groceries and you can't eat anymore for the rest of the month. Obviously, that's probably not realistic, but for entertainment and for the nice to haves, right? That would be something that you might consider doing. Generally, people don't like budgeting. It's not fun. You can just do it in Excel. You don't have to use a program for it, even though I know there's apps these days. I would only use a budget if you're gradually finding yourself falling more and more into debt. Like you're just spending and it's like, oh, okay, I can't pay for that. And so if you're falling into debt, I would use a budget. If you're going to budget, what I would suggest is to track your spending for 3 months. Don't do it all the time like I do. And that will kind of give you information about where your money's going. And you might be surprised. It's like, oh, I spent $500 on drinks with friends. I know you guys can't drink yet, but when you can, that I don't think I got $500 worth of enjoyment out of that. So that's where you would want to, when you have information, you can make changes to your spending and to your life. There's different kinds of budgets. Generally, you can tell each dollar where to go. That's sort of what the point is. We talked about stopping spending. So there's a pay yourself first budget. Basically, you decide how much you want to invest every month. So you basically, with a pay yourself first budget, you say, okay, every month I want to invest, I'm making this up, $500. The budget works that you make sure you can invest the 500 and then you can spend the rest however you want. Another type of budget is a 50-30-20 budget. There's an aggressive version where 50% for somebody who wants to stop working when they're 40. 50% of every dollar that you make is going to be used for spending, and then 30% is going to go for investing, and then 20% for saving. So basically, half of your paycheck is spent, the other half is being either saved or invested. Easier version is 50% is for needs, 30% is for wants, and then 20% is for saving and investing. That would be more for somebody who wants to retire when they're in their 60s, which, it's better to stop working earlier. There's also a zero-based budget, where you allocate all your money as you see fit, but you make conscious decisions. So, for example, housing, rent, or mortgage is 30% of your income, groceries and bills are 20%, transportation is 10%, miscellaneous is 10%, fun is 10%, and then saving 20%. You can fiddle with those numbers. You can do whatever you like. It's your life, it's your money. But that's just some of the tools that you can use. I mentioned it's not for everyone. The reason I started tracking my spending is to know what my burn rate was going to be when I stopped working. Like I needed to know how much money I needed before I could stop working. And the way you know that is how much you spend. And of course, if your circumstances, goals, values, or priorities change, that will affect your budget, and you can fiddle with it, not have one. That's all up to you. This concludes what I think is the most important financial information young people need to learn. If you have any requests on what you would like me to cover in future videos, please put that in the comment section. If you'd like to get in touch, please reach out on any of these social media channels, and may you have a profitable day.